another big topic going on right now that's really affecting the marine industry in Nova Scotia with the fishermen down in Digby. So there's a treaty that says that native fishermen have the right to fish all year round by a native-owned vessel. And all of a sudden, the other group of commercial fishermen who have, 200 and something odd boats.
I don't remember the number, but I know it's a really, really high number of fishing
licenses. So let's just say they have 200 to 300 some odd fishing boats in Digby that are commercial fishing boats. They're very large fishing boats. They're complaining that the native fishermen who have 50 to 70 boats, their boats are a lot smaller. They're more of like a private-owned boat where they do it to support their family and to support the community. All of a sudden, they're taking away all the fish. Obviously, you look at commercial fishing is not really good for the environment anyway, but it does have to happen for economy. But they can do it safely and they can do it without affecting the environment. This is a treaty right that people get as being a native, and it's not an if and or but if they it's an argument. This is the law.
The treaty is upheld in the Supreme Court. It is the law. I don't know why it's not treated as every other single law.
Single law.
Here's the thing. Commercial fishermen, do you really think that they stop fishing when they're told to stop fishing? No. That's how they make their livelihood. And the treaty says that the Mi'kmaq are allowed to fish to maintain a proper living wage, which really isn't that much. The average Mi'kmaq fisherman, I think, makes about $45,000 to $60,000 a year, whereas commercial fishermen in Iran can get about $200,000 to $300,000 a year.
But they're not just selling these fish. They bring these fish home to their family so their family can eat. They use the money to build their houses.
Yeah.
The commercial fishermen. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of commercial fishermen who spend their money well and spend on a lot of toys. And that's okay if you make the money. If you're a commercial fisherman, you work hard, but you don't need to be taking somebody's birthright away from them.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this law is different. If you were going down the highway at 140, you'd get a speeding ticket. End of story. If you stole something from a store, you'd get a fine. You'd go to jail. But for some reason, they don't understand this is also a law. They are just oh, well, it's just unfair that they get to fish all year round and we don't.
The treaty has stood since 1752. If there's a problem about conservation, it's the other commercial fishermen that need to adapt around it, not the Mi'kmaq people. I also don't think it's really about conservation, because if it was about conservation, there wouldn't be boats burnt down. Robert Sillaboy lost his boat.
They set it on fire at the
dock. Investigated
stealing the traps and all that.
Yeah, they're cutting traps.
With lobsters in the pot sitting at the bottom. Those lobsters.
So now they're dead.
They're just gonna die and go to waste.
If it was about conservation,
they wouldn't be cutting the line because that would be.
I just saw a picture on Instagram right before we started this, and the commercial fishermen had made a line of vessels from one end of the harbor entrance to the other end of the harbor entrance. If it's about conservation, would you be sitting out all day, burning your vessel, burning fuel, and being unsafe on the water?
Yeah, they're ramming boats. They're firing flares.
Handguns.
Yeah, I saw that.
And rubber bullets.
Not just rubber bullets. They're actually firing guns. Oh yeah.
No, but I'm saying they were hitting people with rubber bullets.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's not warning shots.
No, they're going to scare somebody off the water. That's how it always has been, because Digby people believe that they are the God-given sent down to earth to fish the seas. Ever since we learned how to drag scallop out the water, they believe that it's their right to do it.
Yeah, but if you look at the history when the colonizers came over to Canada and to Nova Scotia, the fish were so plentiful in the sea you could walk across the water. And as soon as commercial fishermen started, where are all the fish now?
Dead, gone.
They're gone.
Codfish is one of my favorite examples.
Gone. They outfished it.
They overfished it.
Yep.
And they can't just understand to fish responsibly. The native people, the Mi'kmaq people of this land have been here way longer, and the fish has always been here, and they always treat it with respect.
And of course, there's a lot less native people because they're in so little numbers after white people.
Genocide.
I was about to say that.
After
Yeah.
genocide, after residential schools, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
whole different alley to go down.
Yeah. And it's very dimly lit, and I think we should stray away from it. But
we've treated them poorly in the past,
and we still are to this day.
and it's not changed. Canada is supposed to be, a not racist country, and we're good over here. We don't have guns and violence, but as some days I look at it, and I'm like, this is no better than sitting down in Florida.
KK Canada.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh.
Well,
Rainier?
I think there's no such thing as a not racist anything, and that will never be a reality. I come from South Africa. I don't know if you guys know the history. There was a thing called apartheid, and that was pretty much oppression of people based on their skin color. Years after it was abolished, it's still there. It's still very prevalent. So.
It's still prevalent here with the reserves. Most of the reserves still don't have clean drinking water.
Yeah.
Like a God-given right is to have water, a roof over your head, and food.
There's a reserve in BC that has
and they don't have water.
No, they've been on a boil water notice for 46 straight years.
But Justin Trudeau says he's gonna fix it.
Oh yeah, he's got a couple more months to do that.
We're all good.
Yeah. Switch it up again.
I think it just turned off the screen button.
Okay, you want to check?
But still, personally, I think Canada is still very far ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to equality, because at least here they have
allies
put in place to kind of improve the life of everybody. And it's not like in other countries that I've been in where because I'm a foreigner and I've just moved here. It's not like in other countries that I've been in where they see you're from another country and they're automatically saying, okay, you're not really welcome, please leave. Everybody here is quite open arms and happy to at least say good morning or hello, or at least try and be friendly.
Yeah, for the most part, they try and be friendly, but I mean, they're just.
That's mask.
It's just a mask. Really, a lot of the people here on their actual thoughts, or if you look on the internet, their posts, because they can say it a lot easier on the internet.
Yeah.
It's really no better. It's just not an in-person thing.
I think Canada has come a long way, and they've done very well compared to some other parts of the world. But I think they still have a really long way to go.
Yeah. I mean, of course, this will always be.
The 1752 treaty has only been it's only been able to be upheld in the court for 21 years.
It's been around for 300 years.
Yeah.
But
all of a sudden,
they weren't taking accountability, or not accountability, but they weren't acknowledging it.
It's been a treaty for 300 some odd years, but for 250, 280 of those years, it was just a piece of paper that sat in somebody's room. It didn't mean anything.
We both signed the treaty. We both need to take responsibility for what is on that treaty. It was agreed upon before, and I don't see why it isn't upheld now.
So.
It is Nova Scotia is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. This is Mi'kmaq. It is their right. It is their born right to fish. And really, are they really fishing that far past the season? No.
Probably not.
No one wants to be out when it's cold, man.
Nobody wants to be out in the middle of the winter.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
The fishing isn't that good.
No.
It's cold out. It's dangerous.
People die.
They don't do it. They maybe start a couple weeks earlier. They might go a couple weeks longer.
And they catch a few extra fish.
Yeah.
And they probably still catch less fish because they have less pots, they have less boats, and they're not doing it commercially.
You know what the people in Digby will never tell you? Once they're done their season, they buy the fish. They buy the lobsters from the Mi'kmaq people.
People
they do.
Still want lobster.
And they
people
won't
still
tell
want
you.
fish.
Yeah.
But with that, companies in Digby are not allowing native people to enter. They're not allowing native people to go into stores, go use gas stations.
Yeah.
how are these people going to live without being able to fuel up their cars to get to work? How are they going to be able to feed their kids if they can't go to the grocery store?
The major problem with people doing this to the native people, they do have the right to do what they have.
Yeah.
What it is people getting repetitive and feeling like a spot is their own.
Yeah,
Nobody owns the water.
Jealous. That's the
Yeah,
What
really
it is no.
I really don't think it's sort of a race thing. It's starting to become more of a race thing. But it's really not, because it's just one group being jealous over another group's right.
You know, it wasn't a race thing until they started using like racial slurs and like not letting them go into stores and like racially profiling them. It wasn't a race thing before that.
It's
It
just
is
jealousy.
now. They've made it a race thing.
Well, like,
How this started was a native man or woman, somebody, native
Mhm.
person, went out with their pots and laid in someone else's spot. Air quotes, their spot.
But
That's how it started.
season hasn't started.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that person's spot. They don't pay for the land.
No.
It's not your spot.
No,
You
but that's how it
start-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. You don't fish in somebody else's spot, but
Yeah.
you know what? Fishing season hasn't started yet. They weren't fishing there anyways.
Mm.
They're probably gonna move it once their season.
Once fish
opens?
season
Yeah.
started, were they going to move out of the way for the bigger commercial boats to lay their pots
Yes.
there?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they don't
Were-
want to lose their pots because they know they're going to get cut.
Yeah.
Were there still going to be fish and lobsters and scallops still there?
Yes.
Absolutely. Nova Scotia is plentiful with sea life.
Yeah.
There was enough for everybody.
Yeah.
Overfishing is because of commercial industries.
Yeah.
Correct.
If the commercial industry thinks that there is a conservation problem, they're the ones that need to adapt.
Yeah.
Like,
So, I mean, that sounds good for me. If anybody has any more points or
Rainier?
things they'd like to
Well,
say.
Personally, if there was a conservation problem in Nova Scotia, I'd seriously think that the government of Canada would, or at least the government of Nova Scotia would come in and put in more regulations to regulate fishing. That's
Give the
what-
Coast Guard some jobs.
You would think that, but
Yeah.
the Coast Guard, the
Yeah.
government, they're really not doing anything right now. at
yeah,
all.
the DFO wasn't out there. Bernadette Johnson, the like president of the DFO, she hasn't come out with anything. Coast Guard hasn't done anything. The Navy went out.
Because
Navy.
this is the Coast Guard jobs and DFO's job
Yeah.
to deal with stuff like this. Shouldn't happen in the first place? No. But should they deal with it anyways?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should the Navy, who is meant to protect our country from other threats, have to take time out of their day to take their vessel around Nova Scotia so that they can calm people down?
No.
Should they
Like,
have to
it's-
take warships?
No.
And aim at that little freaking
Yeah.
commercial fishing boat.
Yeah.
How much that's costing our government and fueling that every day for something that we
Yeah.
don't need to?
It's training. Training expenses.
And like that's way out of the Navy's jurisdiction. Am I grateful? Yeah, because I mean the Coast Guard's not doing anything. DFO's doing jack all. Like, but still, it's crazy that the Navy had to take action. Is what I'm trying to say. Like it's crazy that the DFO didn't do anything. Coast Guard didn't do anything. I know there's only so much they can do, but you know what they could
could
stop?
be there.
Arson.
Their
You know what they could
presence-
stop? Flares. You know what
Just-
they could stop?
They know it's happening. It's not
Just
hard to
their-
put a boat there and
Just
wait.
their presence
Yeah.
of being there
We'll stop it.
will stop it.
People
Because-
are scared.
If
Yeah, well,
you're
of course
driving
you're
down
scared.
the road and you see a cop car,
You're gonna slow down.
Stop speeding.
Yeah.
If you go to the store and you see a cop walking around, you're not gonna steal something.
Yeah.
If you see a DFO fishing boat sitting where the natives are fishing, you're not gonna shoot that way.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
gonna ram them. Like,
That's all we need. We just
All they
need.
is the presence. They don't need to go there, guns wailing,
No.
armed handcuffs going and arrest everybody, tell them they're bad. They just need to show up and support,
yeah.
which is really not hard. But
Not
I guess they're scared.
I mean, what else are they doing?
Or they're-
Scared of what? Fishermen with non-issued rifle. DFO is armed with anything that the police have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have
Fish police.
assault rifle. Well, they have assault rifles. Fishermen have their daddy's 22 that they passed down to him when they got the boat.
Yeah, they're 22 from 70 years ago. That's gonna
Yeah.
clog the first 3 shots
Yeah.
you put out of it. But they're not bad. I mean, they're racist people. They're not violent people.
No.
They're not gonna shoot a DFO officer.
No.
They will probably stop shooting if the DFO officer shows up.
I think the problem is that there's like the Mi'kmaq culture and like beliefs and like people, and then there's like the other people's like beliefs and culture and systems, and then there's fisherman culture, which is like enveloping everyone. And like fishermen are like very stubborn. They really always believe that they're right, and so do the Mi'kmaq people, and so do the other group of people.
Everybody believes they're right when they don't look at the other people's side. If everybody just looked at everybody else's side and realized that this is
this
is
mess
why
up.
this is happening.
I really think it's like an education problem because
don't
I just
understand.
don't think they understand
Maybe
why
they
they
don't
get to fish a
understand
couple
why the
weeks
treaty
a
is a thing. They don't know what the word treaty really means.
Yeah.
And I just hope that it stops soon because it's kind of just ridiculous.
It's
Yeah, well,
It's
arson
hurting
goes to
everyone.
assault and assault goes to murder. So
Yeah.
soon enough, it's gonna
Get
become
out
a
of
race thing or a major race thing.
Well,
Like right
yeah.
now, it's a race thing. Yes.
Robert Sillaboy's boat got burned
Yeah.
to the cradle.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes.
It's burned to the cradle.
Yeah.
I don't
But-
know if you know a lot of fishing history, but fishing history goes like this. If you mess with somebody's pots, you die. If you mess with somebody's boats,
You die.
If you cut somebody's pots,
You die.
End of story. That's how
I
fishing has
really
always
think it's
been.
gonna come to that.
Because they're killing fish that could be caught and sold.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And to the Mi'kmaq people, that is against their beliefs.
Yeah.
You use every part of an
It's
animal that you catch.
Like an
wasted.
animal should not die for nothing.
And that's what's happening. Animals are dying for no reason. at
Yep.
all. So that is episode 2. We'll probably have to. That's probably a big old episode. But I'm pretty happy with how it went. So yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for